You're the first one in here again, you fucking wild man. Yo. In many ways, this new live streaming system of YouTube, it's typical YouTube. They've improved in a lot of areas. It's better than the last way, but they've also fucked it up in others. It's like they've just. I kind of like the fact that it looks like Rick Mail is reacting to the picture of me dangling from the fucking ceiling. .40-degree weather. Fuck that shit. I don't know what fleek means, but I will take that as a compliment. I'm assuming it means virile. Okay, you could just say, Dawson, you could just say Tool. I know who Tool are. You don't need to say progressive metal and hard rock band Tool. Stop deliberately sounding like such a prick. Right? Could you talk like a human being? Because if I don't, if you're going to ask me, have I been listening? Am I going to be listening to or am I going to get the new album? And I don't know who, and I'm sat there going, who are Tool? Like if I don't know who they are from the. See, you're not a true hardcore Tool fan, unless you have at least seen the documentary about Maynard's wine, vineyard that he. Yeah. Also, that's the sort of the funny and or your lawyer. The fact you've got a lawyer is a Tools fan base. I don't know. Well, I might consider myself. No, Alex Jones is not like Broken Matt Hardy at all. Alex Jones is like Alex Jones. You can't compare him to anybody. It's important. No, but no, Dawson. I'm not talking about precision. You asked me, am I going to be listening for the new Tool album? If I don't know who Tool are, who you're referring to, then I'm not going to know who they are. You can't say, oh, the progressive and hard rock band. I thought you meant the, techno German Umpar band. Is that you in the photo? Yes, it is. It's also me in that one. And that one. This is the thing that I find kind of like weird and yet depressing is that the two most sort of the two albums this year that people have been most excited about, Slipknot and Tool, and yet technically both of those bands now classify technically as dad rock. I mean, Tool is definitely, Have I heard of the dub? Of course I fucking have heard of it. I'm like the, I've been a wrestling fan since I was 12 years old. I literally, I had a briefly run wrestling podcast channel. I mean, I watch wrestling constantly. You won't find anyone of my age group, who knows and loves wrestling more than me. So of course I've heard of NXT. Good thing you don't have Ella's. Well, if I knew what that was, well, I might do Ubelk. I don't know what Ella's Danlos is. I don't have it. That penicillin worked a treat. I don't know who Sia Brookside is, and I don't think having blue hair is a. Well, Total D-Bags was all right. It's just it could have been a lot better, but it's just unfortunately I just couldn't put the. Thing is, if you're going to do a wrestling podcast or a wrestling channel, it's got to be really good because there's so many people out there. I think alcohol is, well, I mean, say alcohol's bad for you. It wasn't alcohol. It wasn't drinking alcohol that got you in trouble. It was drinking alcohol and acting like a tit in public. Your skin only becomes stretchy like Play-Doh, like what you're referring to, if you, it has to be stretched in, it has to be stretched constantly. And it has to be stretched to the point where the elasticity in it goes. That's why you see those geezers who have the really big, who have the big holes in their ears, and they take them out and they have them in there for so long that the elasticity within the skin just goes, and it goes from being like a rubber band to like, as you say, it's not really Play-Doh, that's a little bit, it's a bit stronger than that, but it won't go back, whereas, I mean, I've still got a hole. I used to have a spacer. I used to have a flesh tunnel in that area. I've still got the hole from it, and that was 45 millimeters, which is pretty fucking big. I mean, it's not like. See, I disagree with you there. I mean, there's like, I can think of one or two, but most of the ones I watch aren't. Solar Monster, that's a good podcast. He's not. Most of them don't even bring that shit into it. I actually think wrestling fans don't get enough credit for. Wrestling fans more than most. I mean, people, wrestling fans get a bit of a bad rap, but I think they're actually more progressive than a lot of other fandoms. It's like, no, being obese will make no difference whatsoever. In fact, it'll be, if you've got saggy skin, it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna require a lot more because you're gonna, it's gonna take a lot more lifting up for you. That is not that. There is nothing you can do to make that more comfortable or easier. That is 10 giant fish hooks. Going across, down the entire back of my body. Attached to a rig and then lifting up. There is nothing you can do that will make that. You can have 20 fish hooks, depends, There are lots of different, like I said, there's dozens and dozens of different ways you can do a suspension. But I mean, the more hooks you have, the easier it is. You say puss out, man. I mean, it's not something that's there are lots of people who who don't get who get as far. Do you know how they put those hooks in? Right, they put them in. They put them in 4 goes. That's 10 hooks. They did 3. They pierced 3 of them all at once. So it's 1, 2, 3, 3 different piercings. 1, 2, 3, 3 different piercings. 1, 2, 3, 3 different piercings, and then 1 more. You could. I had a choice. You can either do it in 4 goes, or you can do it in 5. You know. To be honest, it didn't really feel like it was any more painful than having just 1. You know, but it takes it. You think I'm a cook? I am a cook. I'm a fully qualified chef. I'm not bony, I'm lean. What are the benefits? Literally none. You see, here's the weird thing, right? I mean, and this wasn't one of my initial things, but one of the things, part of the thing I love about doing that is the people who, because a lot of people are like, whoa, what the fuck? But, it's the people who are almost borderline offended by it. They find it so, completely and utterly, out there. They think it's so extreme, and that they greet it with hostility, and that's that kind of, there's a kind of sort of like, that pleasure I get out of like knowing that that is offended people. That I've actually that I just by doing that, I've caused someone immense. I've caused them immense. They're just they can't. They're almost angry and incredulous. But here's the thing. For the last 3 years, I've every single day of my life, I've looked at the news, I've looked at what's going on in this country, going on in America and in Europe and around the world, and I've gone, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? Yeah. And that's actual shit that matters. This affects nobody. This does nothing. So if you want, this is kind of, the people who look at that and have this, enraged incredulity about it. That's how I feel when I look at the world every single day, and that shit actually matters. That doesn't affect anybody. That hurts no one. Yeah. But I mean, I don't do it for I don't do it for I do it because it's some. I mean, that's part of the thing to do it. It's about pushing yourself. It's about sort of like looking at something that virtually nobody else would. That 99.9% of people will look at and go, fuck that shit, and go in. I'm gonna do that. I'm not a hard man. I'm not physically in I'm not strong or intimidating or any good in a fight. You can pick me up and throw me at someone maybe, right? But I'd like to see some but I'd like to see some of the double-hard bastards out that people out there who think who call me a pussy and a fucking homo, who fucking say, right, you do that. Not only do that, pay some motherfucker to do that to you. Get on a train, travel 5 hours to stay, to let a bunch of strangers do that to you. What happened to my channel? Nothing, Ben. There's a clue. If you look at the screen, there's a clue as to what the title of this video is about. You know, it was like doing the marathon thing. I didn't do the marathon. You know, part of the sort of appeal of doing the marathon was the fact that I'm not the kind of person who should be doing a marathon. You know, I'm the last person who should be. You know, there's no good reason why I should, you know, not only not be doing it, but even be, you know, the idea that I would even finish it, you know. But it's like sort of just being able to say, you know, it's about proving, you know, what can you, you know, proving things to yourself, you know. And yes, this is my lighter, right? Because I went to the shop to get some cheap lighters, and they didn't have any, and this was all they fucking had. Yeah. So, well, I said that's just stage 2. That's just the second one. You know, I was actually talking to the geezer because any new info? No, there won't be. I've said this, been saying this for a year now. You know, it's where it was a little over a year ago, and it ain't gonna. And you know, saying that shit like this probably don't help. But that was a joke. You can relax. See, Jim, you've just got to let it go, and your obsession with this, the fact you bring it up to me all the time. You know, I mean, the doctors know why, dude. The doctors found out over a year ago, and I've you know, that's why it hasn't got any worse because you know, yeah. Oh yeah, Jim Jesus, you know, Jim's my homie, dude. Yeah. I mean, I was flattered enough, Jim, that after I made my video about in defense of Die Hard being a Christmas movie, I considered it a victory that you at least conceded that I'd made, you know, the best case that you had heard. So if I somehow lost my arms and legs, you know what? If I lost my arms and legs, the least that would be, how am I going to have a fag would be the least of my concerns. Must have missed the details. It's fine, Albert, you know. You know. But yeah, they found out what it was, and I've been getting treatment, so that's why it hasn't progressed since then. It's you know, but you know, it's that's the best sort of out, you know, thing you know, thing I can, is it, why you were right, non-Chicago, could you just you know, we're all friends in here, right? I'll say this for Jim, whether you agree with his politics or not, you know, he at least, you know, is willing to criticize. You know, I've never seen anyone who makes more videos responding to other so-called, you know, ANCAPs than him. You know, and he's a right wing. You know, he's a right wing libertarian because he's a complacent, misogynistic bum splat. Is that okay? And that's fine. And that was a joke, by the way, before anyone fucking freaks out. At least Jim isn't a Nazi. There's to me, at least he isn't a Nazi. Doesn't that say everything about about how low the standards for humanity have been set now? At least. Nerves do grow back. Yes, they do grow back. However, the thing about neuropathy is like they generally, the time frame at which they are likely to come back is 2 to 3 months. Once an area is, you know, is dead, you know, after like the 2 to 3 month period, the sort of likelihood of that returning, and the areas that I've got, you know, that are numb, the areas where the nerves are dead, they've been dead for about 18 months. I also know Millennial Woes is. God, I've heard about him for years ago. Have you only just heard of Millennial Woes? I think Jim. I think the best way to if I can paraphrase something that a white supremacist once said to me, it's like you're not sexist because women aren't human. No. Oh please, Dave Chappelle got cancelled, as if he gives a shit. You can't cancel. I made this point on Facebook earlier. It's so ridiculous. The people were like, cancelled. Like, you can't cancel. Do you know why? Because he literally doesn't give a shit. You know, he is immune to your. He doesn't give a fuck. You know, you can only cancel people who actually give a shit. You know. Do you know what? This whole cancel thing. It just winds me up because it's like it's turned into this game where people actively seek out. It's like they want to be. You know, it's like the person. It's like the cunt who writes first in the comments section of a video. It's like they consider it like they want to be some kind of a chip. Like it's like Pokemon Go for the social justice crowd. It's like, you know. Well, I think I think it's a question worth asking. You know, so confused. You know. I mean, this is one of the like I said, the nerves can grow. I mean, it's not unheard of for nerves that have been dead for 18 months, 2 years to come back, but it takes a long time. No one's ignoring you, Zero. You just, I'm seeing all the comments. You know. But, you know, I can't really respond to I'm drunk. Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, on the, one of the plus sides. Now, here's the thing about a lot of the thing about Chappelle in general. Chappelle's always been a comedian who uses like hyperbolic, who uses extreme hyperbole and is very and he sort of like takes sort of like stupid arguments people make to a ridiculous logical extreme, to sort and like, just in the way that I have done before, to demonstrate. And it's a way of demonstrating the original point. Is pot legal in the UK? Of course it fucking isn't. See you, Jim. Take care, bro. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Is pot legal in the UK? What do you think? Of course it bloody isn't. Yeah. And quite frankly, the state of ethics, the state of things in this country at the moment, the legalization of pot is, quite frankly, is the least of my concerns. What official McDeath think? Pot doesn't cause violence. Pot causes immensely boring people. If pot made you violent, it would make you more interesting. I'm more concerned about, like, when Brexit happens, is will we have food? You know, which is, you know, which I will say this, at least it's, you know, it's exciting. But you're not right, and that's the point, really, is that, you know, I get that you're fucking around, but the thing is, it's like when it actually all starts, it's not going to be funny, is it? You know. No, what happened? No, it's nothing to do with politics, non-Chicago. Do you know what makes? And I don't hate cannabis. Do you know what annoys me? It's potheads in general. You know, they are, you know, potheads more than any other drug user are the ones that are most likely to fucking try and convert you, and just bang on about, and try and encourage you to fucking, you know, to say what you want about, you know, say what you want about methods or crackheads, but they don't walk around trying to, they're not under some false delusion that, you know, the drug they take is some kind of elixir of life that can literally cure diseases that are incurable, and it can fix all the fucking, you know. No, yeah, it's like, it's just that you don't get methods going, hey, great thing about meth, right? It fucking, you know, it's, you know, if you've got athlete's foot or, you know, or dermatitis, clears it right up. No one, you know, does that, you know. You know. And the irony is that most other illegal drugs have at some point been used by the medical industry, you know, in some form or another. You know, and yet, you know, so there's actual, so they actually got more of they've actually got, you know, people, you know, cocaine, there's more, you know, there's more examples you can come up with of cocaine having medicinal qualities than fucking than probably, you know, ecstasy as well, you know, heroin, you know. Yeah, gingivitis. Do you have gingivitis? Honk on a crack pipe for. You know, this is one of the reasons that puts me off, you know, making videos where I talk about, you know, mental issues or mental health issues I've had, or, you know, physical health issues I have, because I know there's going to be, it won't take long. It will take 10 minutes before some cunt says, dude, have you tried weed? I'm like, fuck off. Just fuck off. Right? Oh, look, I've got dried blood on my hand. I didn't notice that. Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Most expensive pair of sneakers I've ever worn. Actually, I've still got them, although they're completely fucked now. But it was a pair of limited edition white and gold Nikes basketball sneakers. What was it? LeBron James. LeBrons. They were about, but to be fair, they were on sale about half price, but they were still about £150. I've still got them, but they're completely fucked now. I think I've hacked parts of them off. But I do, I do love a bit of fake, gold. So, I don't have real gold because I can't afford it, but a bit of fake gold. Anything. I love stuff that's tacky. Big D, God bless you too, sir. Well, I mean, you say God bless. I mean, he's your father, so I don't know who that person is, but they're my favourite troll. Dedication. Oh look, see that was the that's the ropes. They gave me them as a souvenir. Should auction them off. Some fucking pervert will buy them. Been reading this, by the way, just while I'm on. This is my train book. The Belle Gibson story. My queen. I'm actually so confused. If you've seen the film Trainspotting, you should know, one thing you should know is that heroin is the worst thing you can take if you want to have regular bowel movements. Well, one thing I've learned symbolic is that having giant hooks shoved through your skin that are then attached to a giant rig that is then used to pull you up off the ground, so you're literally hanging off the ground by the bits of your skin. I've learned that whether you do it vertically or horizontally, it fucking hurts. Why doesn't Donald stick around? He doesn't have to stick around. He's a busy man, for fuck's sake, Dawson. He's the president. That is the president of the United States. He's a You should be grateful he pops in at all, for fuck's sake. Yeah. You've got the exactly. No, he doesn't have Big Macs, does he? It's fucking Filet-O-Fish. Even when he has McDonald's, he can't do it. He does it wrong. He has a Filet-O-Fish, which is literally the worst thing, on earth. Joseph Mengele wouldn't have fucking created the Filet-O-Fish. I'm a fan of spicy anything. Well, I do remember many years ago, Gordon Ramsay actually did For a brief period, he was, he did endorse Burger King. Which, to be fair, Burger King burgers are pretty good, I don't think it's bionic heart, I think it's just, I just think the burgers are much better. They're. I do know that, yeah. I mean, I don't have a Burger King anywhere near me. When did Ramsay? This was fucking going back ages ago. But I remember like being in a Burger King and there was like a thing about Gordon Ramsay sort of nothing beats Greg's. Well, I don't know, human shit. When Brexit kicks in, that's literally all we're going to have. Tinned food, tins of baked beans, and fucking army ration packs and Greg's. Gordon wasn't quite an introverted. It's just he wasn't the boss. He was the underling, which is like he wasn't introverted at all. He was Gordon. He was who he was. It's just that was his. He was doing his job. Plus, he's always Plus, I imagine there's always he's always going to have that sort of teacher teacher student relationship with him. Greg's isn't that bad. It's just you don't live off Greg's. So confused. You eat Greg's and What the hell I don't even know what that question's for. See you, Symbolic. Take care. And remember, I won't be fully happy with you until you start making videos again. Right? You old bastard. You beret-wearing piece of shit. With respect, Hang in there. Whatever. Okay, there are 21 people in this room. Here's a game. Everyone in here, click share. Click the share button and share this live stream on either Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Now. That's an order. Did I get suspended? Grant. Suspended. Do I watch any specific cooking shows? Yeah, my favorite cooking channel is I watch lots of food channels. Sorted Food is my favorite. I suppose is be the favorite cooking channel. But I watch I still have a soft spot for Epic Mealtime, and there's quite a few actually. I quite like food videos. I mean, have I any good stories from the days I worked as a bartender? No. You have no followers on Twitter? Well, okay, just add a load of random hashtags. Just use the hashtag, Little Mix sex tape. I'd click on that, right? Well, you say that, but I mean, they're still up against proper chefs, and I would disagree. I mean, they're not. The two guys who are the chefs, they're still trained chefs, and the difference between it doesn't matter how good you are at cooking. They're still, compared to people who are, chefs are a very, very, specific, breed of people. Binging with Babish is very good. I do like binging with Babish. I like it. I like it when he makes stuff from TV shows. Yeah. I love it. I've shared it, and we've actually lost 3 viewers in the time you lot have shared it. Good work, guys. Make that 4 people. Yeah. Make that 5. Epic Mealtime sucks. Okay. Ashens are good. Yeah, but Ashens isn't a cooking channel. Yeah. Ashens is very good. I do like Ashens. Just post it on 4chan. Okay, you can if you want. Everyday lunch and dinner. Probably, but I don't know what they are. Look them up. You'll probably die of malnutrition if that's all you're going to eat. If you just mean literally boil, they censor language. So does everybody. So does virtually every big YouTuber. And who cares? It adds nothing. It adds nothing to the fucking video. Particularly now, seeing as how literally just, swearing in a video is, even if, a couple of times will get you immediately demonetized these days. So people are, your full-time YouTubers are going to be well, I'm personally, I'm of the opinion of it makes little to no difference whether someone, the language someone uses in a video, Yeah, but you're not a professional YouTuber, Amy. You're not someone whose income is dependent on. You're not someone who's like, the difference between like getting demonetized and not getting demonetized is literally thousands of dollars a month. Yeah, am I fine? I don't know. You tell me. Oh, you're talking to her, right? Okay. Someone complimented my driving earlier. They left a note on my windscreen. It said "parking fine." I thought that's very good. Yeah, but YouTube is the no. See, I disagree. YouTube should pay people. We choose to come here. If YouTube, YouTube don't earn anything unless advertisers, but it's not YouTube, and the adpocalypse was not YouTube's decision. You got to understand. YouTube, I promise you this: YouTube would love it if they could go back to the way it was before they were massive, when you could literally upload anything and it immediately got monetized, and because this was before YouTube was massively was as mainstream as it was, and before but it's not. YouTube don't make any money from this. We are customers. We choose to use a service they are providing for free. The idea that they should pay everyone who contributes content. I mean, they don't pay you anything. The money you get is from advertisers. The money they get is from advertisers. Like most things, like most things connected with the related to the internet, it's the it's the ones the ones who made it were the people who let you just use it for free, and then that brought in a big audience. The Patreon, Patreon and PayPal is is certainly better, but I mean it's but it's not it's hard to say that's sort of more so it's the sort of reliability of that, because you could lose you can lose or or go the amount you make can But here's the thing: if your channel is big enough that you make significant amounts of money from your adverts, then to me that says that your channel is big enough that you could just set up a Patreon. And it's very hard for me to, it's like, I'll give an example. I remember seeing, The Amazing Atheist was, about a year ago, he was complaining about all his videos being demonetized. And I'm like, motherfucker, you earn $7,000 on your fucking Patreon. Actually, that's not even true. He had 7,000 people who pledged to his Patreon. He didn't have the amount visible. But even if those people only donate $1, which I guarantee you, they there's more than that. It's hard to get to sit there and bust a blood vessel over or Dave Rubin was complaining about it as well, and it's like you earn $40,000 a month. That's nearly $500,000 a year, and that's just on Patreon. That's before we take into account all the money you get from the Koch brothers. In fact, their ad revenue was probably the smallest amount. Hey, Dusty. Cody Webber was not TJ's dependency. Cody Webber, TJ was Cody Webber's dependency. TJ didn't need Cody Webber, or even Cody Webber needed him. You notice that as soon as TJ binned Cody Webber, no one ever heard from him again, even though he still apparently makes videos. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I mean, all of them make. I mean, all of them make shit. I mean, Thunderfoot was interesting because this was even before Patreon. He started, taking donations, which was kind of hypocritical. Which was hypocritical on the basis that he had, like, up to that point, been if anyone he sort of went after who took PayPal donations, he would use that as a sort of as a basis for attacking them. He would use that as it was bad, full stop. The fact that they had a PayPal link on their thing, or they took, or they were and then he realized, actually, you could probably earn a living from, like, if you were to do the same, and then suddenly it's okay. I don't honestly care. I mean, I don't care what people earn on Patreon is. I don't begrudge them. Fame. Regular fame is fleeting. But internet fame is even more so. Do I despise? I don't know his brother, Dawson. Could you stop being a prat? Could you stop asking silly questions? Why would I know TJ's brother? I don't know Scotty. I've never conversed with him. I have no opinion of him. Well, to be fair, Alex Jones has been doing this for a living long before even the internet was remotely mainstream. So, I mean, he's got, hey, PC Mo. Now, PC Mo, but don't make me have to go through the same rigmarole that we do every time. Just, I disagree that Alex Jones is lazy. Alex Jones is incredible. Alex Jones works. Alex Jones probably works harder than fucking, most people, when you look at the amount of content he produces, and you've got to consider this, most other, sort of like people on YouTube, people on the internet who make content about the news, they just have to wait for the news to happen and then make content about it. Alex Jones has to actually make the news up. He has to create loads of fake bullshit news and then comment on that. Does Thunderfoot make informative content about science? I've never actually. Yeah, but in a way, you say you can justify it all you want. I don't care what, what. There's no, but at least this person does that. I don't give a shit. But the fact that Dave Rubin is, untalented and unskilled, and pretty dumb, and and also kind of pretty much obviously aware of the fact that he's full of shit. The fact that he's able to make a ludicrous amount of money is actually more impressive than someone who's actually got some value to that. I mean, being able to succeed despite in spite of yourself is actually in a way kind of more impressive than someone who succeeds through hard work and skill. Why do I insist on being contrarian? I'm not contrarian. You are. And I don't insist. First of all, Dusty, I actually resent the fact that you would say I'm contrarian. Right? I have never ever. A contrarian is someone who disagrees with something just for the sake of it. Just to read it. And I don't do that. And I resent the implication that I do. Believe it or not, sometimes it's possible for someone to disagree with a popular position and actually mean it. I have no idea. What are you talking about? Okay, Dusty, can you be more specific? What are you talking about? No, I'm not saying, no, you're missing the point. First of all, I'm being kind of tongue-in-cheek here, when I said that about Rubin. But, my point was, when you think about it, it's actually more impressive that someone succeeds despite the fact they have absolutely no skill or talent or aptitude for what they're doing than someone who's actually put the work in and has actually, that was it, but I'm not being completely serious there. It doesn't change what what Dave Rubin is. Yeah. Do I respect people? No, I can respect anyone with any position. If someone's genuine, I mean, that's all I really ask of people is to be honest. I mean, you've got more chance of getting through and reaching someone who's, who regardless of what their position is, if they're actually being sincere. But I mean, respect only goes so far, Doesn't mean I'll treat them any better, you know. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is so confused. I bring this up to people is like, if anyone wants to question my, you know, my sincerity, I'll say this: if all I was interested in was, you know, making money and getting subscribers, then I would have switched sides and joined the other side fucking years ago. Why would I meet Copper Cab in Bristol? And obviously, no, I didn't. So I'd respect genuine Nazis. You seem to be understood. What do you mean? What the fuck? What I said is, if someone's being sincere and honest, and they're telling me how, and they're not playing games, or they're not, you know, they're not just doing it for a grift, then I can at least respect the honesty. And I'm more willing to have a conversation with that person than I am someone. You know, that's what I mean. I don't mean respect as in I admire or like, you know, or I will, you know, or I'll give them a free pass. You know, it's you know, it's not an hard concept to understand. But of course, that's all down to, you know. But of course, you can be wrong. I mean, you've got to sort of, it's a judgment call that you have to make. You know. It's not whether the convo. I mean, it's like when people come into this room, for example, and you know, and they just, you know, and I let them express their opinions, and they, you know, they don't mince words. They don't use, you know, they don't try and pull, you know, use like, you know, coded language or fucking, you know, smoke and mirrors. They just come out and say what they say. The fact that they're willing to come in this room knowing that they're going to be, you know, pretty much on their own, and you know, and they're going to have to deal with, you know, says to me that they at least, you know, I don't think you would do that unless you were, unless you meant it, you know. You know, obviously the people who come in who are just disruptive cunts, who just, you know, then those people are just trolls, you know, or just, you know, looking to fuck, you know, fuck everything about, you know. You know, but I mean, I've been doing this online for more than 11 years, and in you know, before the internet, you want to take that in, nearly 20, over 20 years actually. And I've, you know, I know for a fact I've changed hundreds and hundreds, you know, of people's minds on various issues, and I know that I couldn't have done that unless those people were willing to fucking listen, you know. unfortunately, this is, it's, sincerity, throughout, from throughout the entire spectrum of of politics on YouTube is so rare that unfortunately it's the default kind of assumption with anybody is that they're knowingly, being dishonest, or for whatever reason, which I can understand. It's like, you're only going to go on what the law of averages tells you. Everyone's gone quiet. I don't know. You can be afraid of someone and respect them as well. I don't know. Well, that's because political content is, well, I mean, I wouldn't say that's the case, but I mean, it's political content is what is probably the biggest victim of the sort of apocalypse. No, you don't have to respect. The thing is, people sort of are misreading into what respect means. Like you can respect aspects of of what a person does, or their character, without actually and still, not like them, and still, treat them no different. Treat them the same way you would treat anyone else who said this, whether they were, regardless of it. It's Would I grind down rails? No, because you don't grind down rails on the longboard. I'm sure you can, but I mean, I have no desire to, quite frankly, at the moment. Yeah, everybody, Ben's here. You can stop panicking. Why are you so fucking late, Ben? What's your excuse? I'm always... No, you're not actually. Does the UK have gas appliances? Yes, of course it does. No, we don't use gas because we don't know what it is. I mean, the last restaurant I worked at, I used all gas hobs, and I was on the fucking frying pan section of an Italian restaurant. I had like fucking 14 gas hobs. Yeah, so confused is pretty much right. You know, we just sit there, you know, go, chuck another orphan child on the fire, Lord bastard. I'm getting disturbed by how excited everyone is that Ben's here. So. Gasman! Gasman! Who is it, darling? It's the Gasman! Do you have someone who looks after you? Could I see them? Because I need to read your meter. You can speak Mandarin Chinese. That's fucking useful. They say 1 in 5 people in the world is Chinese, and there's 5 people in my family, so it must be one of them. It's either my mum, my dad, my brother Colin, or my other brother, Ding Pao Ho. Yeah, it's the most used, not in Dundee. Would it be? I don't fucking know. What the hell is this conversation we're having about about tumble dryers and fucking gas? British rock group Dawson, could you please just say Oasis? I know who fucking Oasis are. You can communicate, yeah, but do they want to communicate with you, Ben? I mean, I can speak perfect English, and you know. This is like that scene in Superbad where McLovin gets a fucking fake ID and he's called himself Mohammed. It's like, Mohammed's the most popular name in the world. See, I grew up in the Britpop era, you know, which literally was the sort of the last sort of great era of music. You know, since then it's all just been mixtures of everything else that's already come and gone. Do you know what? Many years ago, I actually, I used to prefer. I never disliked either of them. I, think they are what they are. But but I also always sort of preferred Noel. But nowadays, I actually prefer Liam to Noel. But, you know, I bear neither of them no ill will. But a popular trope in anime. Well, there's nothing more accurate, you know, historically and culturally. There is no, you know, greater. Yeah, so I was listening. I got into Liam Gallagher's solo. I just, you know, I mean, it's sort of like, just if you're talking about just them as, you know, I mean, you know, I thought High Flying Birds, Noel Gallagher's man, was okay, but, you know, but that was it, you know. But there's this, but I just find Liam Gallagher very funny, you know, and he just, you know, he's sort of like, you know, we're talking about people being genuine. I mean, you can't sort of get more genuine, you know, as far as celebrity go. You know, he's just, he isn't sort of like, I don't think fame has changed him in the slightest. He is what he is, you know. But I mean, what I always liked about Noel was, like, you know, I mean, in a world where, you know, celebrities are, it's so common to hear celebrities whinging about having to be celebrities. Noel Gallagher was always like, you know, no man, being famous is great. I fucking love it, you know. Do I find it odd? No, they're in one of the most popular, biggest bands of all time. Why would it be odd that they, you know, they became sort of cultural icons? They were in one of the, you know, that's kind of standard, isn't it? Yeah, we discussed the Dave Chappelle special earlier. To be honest, one of the reasons I can't be bothered to talk about it is because, you know, I know there are people out there. I don't want to fall out with people over a disagreement over a Dave Chappelle stand-up show. You know, it's like, by the way, if anyone's got a tenner they can bung me PayPal, that'd be great, because I kind of need, you know, I need to get one packet of cigarettes to last me tomorrow. Actually, I am looking forward to the Joker movie, but before the Joker movie, we've got, you know, It Chapter 2. Well, I don't know if there's nothing like them around. I mean, certainly in this country, that, you know, there wasn't too. I think there was, you know, I think they just sort of like made that, you know, they had that, you know, appeal. I mean, there were bands that are around. I mean, also you got to remember, before Oasis, there was, like, we've gone through, you know, we'd had Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, you know, Nirvana, which obviously was more American based. But I mean, there was already, you know, people, and also people can, you know, is people can, I think, give the 80s a lot of stick, but there were a lot of great actual, really good bands in the 80s and really good artists. There was just a lot of, it was a weird decade. The Joker movie is so stupid. You haven't even seen it yet. What did Chappelle do? Nothing. He just had a new show recently, which means, and as is the standard thing, just, after Dave Chappelle does a show, everyone has to lose their shit. Just like they have done for the previous 5 specials he's done in the last few years. Here's the thing about Wham. Things like, people don't realize about Wham is Wham were not like a manufactured pop band. They were actually, Andrew Ridgeley and George Michael actually were a band. Like, they played in clubs and pubs and stuff as Wham. Like, which is quite weird when you think about it. See, Ginger Greek, what side were you on in the completely and totally not fucking manufactured Blur versus Oasis war? How closely do you like to see the book? Well, I haven't read the books, and I don't really care. I see a film adaptation of something as, its own version of something. It's, I don't expect it to adhere religiously to it. It doesn't have to. I think it's wrong to say people they were more down to earth. I don't see how they were more down to earth than they maybe were more relatable, but I don't see how they were more, down to earth than, say, Supergrass or Pulp or Stereophonics, Pulp were awesome, Pulp were something else, See, I disagree. See, in the Blur Oasis thing, Blur were quite, clearly the better band, but the fact of the matter is, Blur Oasis was more sort of like, there was a subtext there of a class war, whereas like, and if you were a working class geezer, then you were Oasis, and if you were a middle class, student, then you listen to Blur. So I like Suede as well. Like, they got a little bit samey, after, there was but Sleeper were okay. They were sort of in the middling. Simon Cowell, what absolute rubbish. Simon Cowell ruined British, but yes, because pop bands didn't exist before X Factor. There were no pop bands in the 80s, were there? There were no pop bands in the 70s or the 60s or the early 90s. There was pop music never existed. Pop music never existed before X Factor. The only thing X Factor did was it put the whole process on television. That's all it did. Why are Blur and Oasis? Because Blur and Oasis were seen as the two biggest bands during the Britpop era. You know, and there was kind of a quite, you know, sort of manufactured, you know, sort of rivalry that really didn't exist. You know, at least you know, basically 1 week. You know, there was 1 week where, you know, I think it was Oasis were going to release Roll With It, and Blur was scheduled to release, I can't remember what the song was. I think it might have been Country House, you know, but like the week later. And then, you know, and basically Blur deliberately put their release of Country House back a week, so it came out on at the same time as Roll With It. And then and they did it on purpose, and the media concocted this. Oh, it's the two biggest bands, and the truth was Oasis really didn't give a shit, you know, because it didn't matter, you know. Well, look, you know, there's a lot of bands and you know, and performers who did a lot of stuff. Elton John hasn't written a lot of his, you know, didn't write most of his early stuff. You know, he did the he wrote, you know, Bernie Taupin wrote everything, you know, but a lot of the early fucking Beatles stuff was cover versions, and you know, a lot of Elvis stuff was cover versions, you know. And then you got things like the Monkees, you know, Daydream Believer comes on in a pub, everyone sings that, no problem. But I mean, they weren't, you know, they were more manufactured than almost any pop band you'll find today, you know. The thing is, they weren't even a pop band, did they? It's like they didn't even sing, or they didn't do anything. I mean, at least, you know, your Westlifes and your Boyzones, and they actually sang the fucking songs. You know, that's actually them singing, you know. At least they could play their own instruments. Who cares whether they can play their own instruments? Who gives a shit? If you can't play an instrument, why does it matter? You know? Why do people have this obsession that, you know, if you play an instrument, you're automatically better than someone who doesn't, you know? You know, Pavarotti, how many instruments did Pavarotti fucking play? No, I'm not finding the banana splits. No, I'll find it later. Yeah, if you're playing in a band, it's relevant. But again, why does playing in a band matter? As if playing in a band means anything, you know? If you know, I can't sing. You know, I can't sing as well as a lot of these fucking, you know, pops. You know, if you can sing, but you're not much of a, and you can, you know, perform on stage, but you don't write songs. You're not much of a, you know, you don't write. That's not a thing. But there's someone who's good at writing songs, but they're not much of a performer. Put them together. Yeah. No, we were talking about pop. No, we were talking about, you know, just music in general. You know. When we say bands, I mean, let's be honest, you know. Well, I mean, it's arguable, Ginger Greek, that, you know, in the last, you know, 10, 15 years, the sort of, you know, that, you know, Britain's been producing some of the better hip hop or rap music than, you know, because it finally sort of came into its own, you know. They aren't particularly. Who says that? What you're saying? What do you mean they aren't particularly good singers? What's a good singer? What so? What do you mean? What do you mean? You know, I don't know what you expect from a singer. You know, it's like if someone's got a good voice. You know, the Backstreet Boys are. You know, I wasn't a Backstreet Boys fan, but they can clearly sing. They can hold a note better than me. Yeah, but how many people use auto-tune? You know, how many people? How much? How often is that actually? It's not used that often. You know, this is a. Isn't this interesting? Yeah, but unfortunately, Mike Skinner, as brilliant as Mike Skinner was, unfortunately, dry your eyes. He did nick that. Well, I don't know how much Photoshop is used in modeling, and to be quite honest, I don't give a shit. Do you know what I care about? If I listen to it, if it sounds good, then you know what? Fuck it, I don't care. What does it matter? You know, I mean, very little that's produced in studios, even by real bands, is still fucking is still put through. Is still goes through production processes that involve, you know, that sort of create a. You know, a lot of the drum beats you hear are created through I personally don't give a shit though. I mean, this obsession people have with the who's doing it and where it comes from. Do you know, it's like if you listen to it, do you like it? It's that old saying, I don't know art, but I know what I like. Do you like it or you're not? If you like it, does it fucking matter whether they're playing their own instruments or whether they wrote those words they're singing or whether they fucking or does it honestly fucking matter? If it's a song that you like, that you enjoy, that's it. That's all I really give a shit about. Yeah, but who's dishonest about it? I don't get what you mean. If they're honest about it, who's dishonest about it? Give me an example of a dishonest. But I mean, one thing we were talking. This started off by someone mentioning X Factor. I mean, that's as open and out front as it. That's how it works. Milli Vanilli. Oh, that's Milli Vanilli. Oh, that's obviously that was only 40 years ago. Every R&B. That's very helpful. Yeah. Of course, every R&B singer ever. That's it. That's like all of them forever. Yeah. Cheers, so confused. Cheers, bro. I don't really know what emo rap is. I mean, I don't know. There's a reason why Idris Elba is famous. And I'm not familiar with his music. There's a reason why he's famous. But pick a big one. Okay, R. Kelly. What happened to new metal? Well, it wasn't new anymore. It got old. Okay, R. Kelly. Okay, Boys to Men. You don't have to. It's irrelevant whether you like him or listen to him. I'm sure you've heard a fucking R. Kelly song. But I'm not interested in your fucking personal taste. That's not the conversation. Yeah. Yeah, but metal is quite a broad genre. I mean, you know, so this is the problem. You know, R&B kind of peaked in the 90s. I mean, there's like, you know, En Vogue. You know what? No, I think you know, hip hop was, you know, probably, I would say, you know, peaked pre-90s. But they're saying that I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think it's gone through phases. You know, Rage Against the Machine is not new metal, for fuck's sake. And Rage Against the Machine started. New metal was, you know, late 90s, early 2000s. Mariah Carey, Tony Braxton, Keith Sweat. You know, yeah. Lil Jon featuring Tiger. Bend over, make your knee touch your elbow. Oh, it's 3 up in the morning now, and the DJ's playing that song now. What you gonna do? Now, gonna keep popping now. Yes, he did use auto-tune, but he wasn't dishonest about it. The fact that you found that out is not means he wasn't dishonest about it. You know? If he was being dishonest about it, it would be exposed R. Kelly. And let's be honest, if you're R. Kelly, you know, the last thing you're going to be concerned about is people finding out you used fucking auto-tune. You know? And to be fair, and also to in his defense, he was going, you know, he has been around for 25 years, and for a great deal of that, auto-tune didn't even exist as a concept. Yeah, the article called him out for about it, but how did they find out? Did at any point, did anyone ask R. Kelly, do you use auto-tune? And he said no. You know, and again, what was it on? You know, was this throughout the majority of his, like, you know, have you heard? I've heard R. Kelly sing live. You know, quite, you know, and he sounds pretty much, you know. I remember, what was it? It was the band that I remember using voice modulators. What's his name? Blackstreet. I remember them using like voice, you know, voice modulation in, you know, one of their like. So it was. Oh, what song was it? It was. You know. But anyway, yes. Nabil, you're turning in. You know what, Nabil? You're turning into that fucking miserable old twat who thinks everything was better his day. Yeah. And you don't want to do that. Yeah. Because that's not. You know. Fine young cannibals. Yeah. Okay. Don't Leave Me. That's the one. It was like, it had that same sample that as Tupac used. Because I remember there was a Tupac song out around about the same time, which I think do 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 do. I feel anxiety in lots of situations. You know. See, I don't even know what that means, Albert. You know. So you've got to take into account something, you know, that which is that the amount of music that is produced and available and accessible to you today compared to previous decades. You know, remember in the 50s and 60s there was very, you know, there's a reason why you can fit the best of the 1950s pretty much on a treble album, you know, because there wasn't actually a lot of fucking new music fucking produced. You know, it was very hard to get. You know, you didn't have home studios and shit. You know, whereas nowadays, it's a lot easier for people to produce and upload. You know, music. You know, but there's a, you know, so if you were to say, for argument's sake, that there's 20 times the amount of music, you know, being produced now that you can download or listen to via whatever means, you know, you choose to do so, you know, than there was 20 years ago. Then ultimately, you know, the thing is, what that means is you're going to get 20 times the amount of crap. You know, we also got to remember a lot of social media, a lot of these websites and social media have actually launched. You know, they've been banned. I mean, that was kind of the thing. One of the things that sort of, you know, launched MySpace was when the Arctic Monkeys, because that's what, you know, they were found on MySpace. There was someone else. Was it Adele? There was some other, you know. You know, who's the most famous pop star in the world? Justin Bieber. Where did he start? Right here. Yeah. Funny thing about Metallica is is the hatred people have for Lars Ulrich. Like, even hardcore Metallica fans hate Lars Ulrich. He's like, he's like the Fred Durst of drummers. Still don't like, but Bieber. Do you know what I reckon, mate? Justin Bieber doesn't care whether you like it. And again, I'm not interested in whether you like what he does or not. That's not, you know, that's subjective, you know. Listen, anyone who makes enough money that they can fucking say they're going to retire at the age of 21, well, fair play, you know. I can't remember what fucking concert. I can't remember what concert or festival it was, but Lars Ulrich was sick, and they announced it before Metallica were due on, and a chant, you know, started to grow in the section of the crowd I was in, which was "Hope he's dead." These were people waiting to see Metallica, you know. You've obviously never heard Pink Floyd. I think my positions on Pink Floyd have been well established for many years. Yeah. I don't care, you know. How often do you go? Here's the question. No, here's another question. How often do you listen to the radio? I don't listen to the radio. There's loads of songs I've listened to. there's songs that I heard 20, 30 years ago that I still listen to, that that were barely on the radio when I fucking heard them. Why does a song being popular have any bearing on on its quality? I remember 20 years ago there was a band I was into. They were a sort of they were, I can't remember how you describe it. They were sort of like I suppose sort of a punk, sort of proto punk band, but they were called Symposium, and they had 2 albums out, never even charted. I still listen to them. That was your whole argument for beat, but no, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with I didn't say you had to like him or his music was good because he could retire at the age of 21. No, there is no objective measure. You can maybe objectively measure technique, but that doesn't mean you're going to like it. This is art, my friend, and art is whether you like it or your appreciation of it, is subjective. Rolling Stones, no. Got nothing against the Rolling Stones, but I can appreciate. I can watch. I can listen to a band and appreciate or respect the talent or the skill that they have, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like it still. Yeah. Yeah. Some of my sort of favorite music, music and songs and art. It's some of the most minimalist and simple. Like, Iron and Wine. It's just a geezer with a fucking. It's just one guy and a guitar. But there's like 5 or 6 of his songs that like would easily make my top 50 favorite songs of all time. And there's nothing, and they're very simple. I mean, ask any England football fan who grew up in the late 80s, early 90s. They all, every one of them knows Nessun Dorma by Pavarotti, and they'll say that's their favorite classical, that's their favorite, operatic, that's their favorite opera song. But they don't know. Most of them don't even know what it's fucking called. They'll say the Italian 1990 World Cup thing. Guy with the guitar songs can be, well, anything can be pretentious. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Usually, well, that's just you saying stuff in the bill. That's not actually, Nessun Dorma. It's got 2 S's. See, I've got a soft spot for Ed Sheeran. Is for two reasons. One, my ex-fiance, like, we he would, it's okay, you don't have to apologize, mate. But there were, he wrote like several songs that were quite sort of like that meant something to, pardon me, us two. And also, one my favorite room that I've played in when I've done the Brighton Festival was used by Ed Sheeran before he was famous, and it was with the same comedy. It was with the same promoter. So I play the same venues as Ed Sheeran. Yeah. Make of that what you will. Well, you say, Ben, again, that's just you saying something. It's, why don't we judge things on an individual basis rather than generalizing an entire group of music, genre or area of music, as in what is, that it is effectively a moot point what you're saying. I've never heard of Tonic. Do you know what I like about DJ Khaled is, like, is that if is the fact that he says he shouts his name within the first 10 seconds, like, if he'd written Barber's Adagio for strings, it would start with like DJ Khaled, Four Seasons, And I remember people used to take the piss out of Craig David for always saying his name, when in his songs. Now everyone does it. Yeah. Famous for no reason. I think there's a reason for it. He's a producer. He's a DJ. I think he's a what? I think it's in the name. Yeah. Hey, look, if you can get famous for that, I wouldn't mind that. Must have been a bloody good headache. Yeah. He's not hurting anyone. He's not really famous for that. That was just, a really dumb thing to say. Although, let's be honest, in this era, in this era where, almost every male celeb, every famous man was getting called out for some sort of sexually inappropriate behavior, it was kind of a fucking, it was kind of, think that, well, there's one area where DJ Khaled won't get fucking, Cheers, Bulletproof. And see, Fatboy Slim popularized, he was, Big Beats. Have you read the Big Beat Manifesto? It says big beats are the best. Get high all the time. I don't know. I don't know DJ Khaled. I mean, I don't let it. You clearly let it. It clearly bothers you more than it does. It seems to bother you more than it does anyone else. He doesn't produce. I don't care, Ben. I don't know how many times I can express this. You know. Do you know who else did fuck all, but no one cares about? You know, Flav. Why does no one give him shit? He literally did nothing. You know, Bez in fucking, you know, Happy Mondays. Literally, pair of maracas off his tits on ecstasy, and this is all he did. Actually, I remember The Rock had a funny response to DJ Khaled about that. I can't remember what it was. Well, I mean, you know, the cigarettes I smoke are £8.70. They're the cheapest ones. Am I talking about Flavor Flav? I was about 3 minutes ago. I'm sorry, Flavor Flav's, you know, finest hour was Flavor of Love, you know, which if you don't know about, you know, you need to look that up. You know. Yeah, I know. I've been to America. I know how cheap you can get cigarettes for. No, you know, you haven't seen Flavor of Love, then fire off if that's what you think. No. Yeah, you know, trash TV at its absolute finest, you know. Hasn't lost a single pound. Good for him. No, the pinnacle, you know, the best moment of Flavor of Love was when that woman inexplicably took a shit on the floor. Just you know, piped. I'm not smoking a pipe. What am I, fucking 80 years old? The only reason I have a pipe is so you can point at people like that, like. When does it start, the new season of Sunny? I'm not clicking on it because if I open another window on this browser, then my computer will have an anxiety attack and meltdown. I've never claimed to be a spring chicken, mate. Smoke meth, live on air. Well, you don't live on air, do you? Then you're living on meth, you know. What about cigars? Oh, shut up, Ben. Hey, Jono. No, my computer does. You know that thing about how, you know, owners begin to resemble their pets. Like, well, all of my any sort of anything I own that is electrical, anything like a phone or a computer, you know, or, you know, even a speaker, you know, or anything, it will end up, you know, with my sort of just, you know, it will end up with my fragility and you know, and just, you know, it will end up with my personality and my completely inability to actually do what it's supposed to do at the moment it's supposed to be able to do it, you know. Which Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy? Because I don't know which one you mean. I think it's kind of irrelevant at this stage. He killed himself. Yeah, but again, that's not a conspiracy, mate. That's just saying you don't believe he killed himself is not a conspiracy theory. You have to kind of put some meat on the bones for that. And here's the thing, I don't care. I honestly don't give a shit. I could not give less of a fuck, you know. Okay, again, Alex, I can't reiterate this again. I don't care. Yeah. See, Nabil, stop trying so hard. I don't, Ben. Okay, let me just say it again. I don't care. This is one of the few occasions where whether it, you know, where, you know, people who are, you know, believe in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories can literally say, you know, the Jews were behind it, because even if it's true, that's true. You know, that's the case. No, he won't. No, he won't. Dude, I hate lots of things. Most of the people in this chat. I hate things that are worth hating, you know. Yeah, it's very rare that something is, you know, ultimately, you know, easily avoidable as music or a TV show or a film can enrage me. There's very few. I remember reading, I think it was a book by about a gangster, British gangster called Mad Frankie Fraser, who who revealed some of the things that they did to child abusers in prison. And one of them, and this is the most fucked up, they would basically get glass, and they would crush it until it was virtually like a fine powder, and then they would mix that. They would then get their sugar and put the crushed up glass in with the sugar bowl. So they would put all these tiny little fragments of glass in their tea or on their cereal, and then eat it. And once they've swallowed it, it would basically shred their insides, and they would bleed to death from the inside. That'll do it. Yeah. TikTok is an app where, from what I can gather, I'm not even sure what it is, but it's where people just basically make short videos, miming. I'm pretty sure Mad Frankie Fraser was, around before Oz, considering he's now dead, and has been for a long time, It's not even really Vine, is it? Because Vine was something that had a little bit more creativity to it, I think probably more than that, But that was just that's just my favourite thing that they did, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I don't use TikTok, funnily enough. It's not really. Yeah, but they only see ads for something. Yeah, but if it doesn't need ads, if it's getting used enough. I can't remember the last time I saw an ad for Facebook or Twitter. Loads of Minecraft YouTubers. Okay, I don't remember. I don't remember loads of them. What do you mean by loads? Okay, nonce is paedophile. Nonce. A slot badger, small bean regarder, a bent ref, a crazy world of Arthur Brown, a shrub rocketeer. I do know how it works, Ben. You 5 or 6. That's not loads, is it really? What you're saying is there were 5 or 6 paedophiles who were playing the most popular video game in the world. I do know how paedophiles, Yeah, well, when you consider that the most popular, the most popular sort of YouTube channels are video game channels, but the most popular video game channels are Minecraft channels, like specifically Minecraft channels. Minecraft channels are probably the most, if you're going to sort of really sort of subgenre YouTube channels, I would say probably Minecraft channels are probably the most popular. So no, I don't think Fortnite. I don't see as many. I've never seen, I can't remember seeing as many Fortnite players as I can Minecraft. You can kind of do more with Minecraft. And plus those Minecraft channels still exist. Okay, if I'm wrong, fair enough. I will take your word for it, Ginger Creek. Most people who play Minecraft. Okay, and please tell me what statistics you have to back that up. You hate PewDiePie. I don't care. And you know what? Neither does he. Watch any crime drama. No, I recently started watching again because I went back home last week because it was my dad's birthday. So I went back over for that, and him and my mum have been watching this show called Peaky Blinders, and I got in. So I watched like a couple of episodes with that with them, but they were on season 4. So like I started watching that the other day. It's got a good cast. Are there any films you think are really shit but everyone else loves? I mean, I wouldn't say shit as such. I mean, there's films there's films I'm not really bothered about, or don't get that people get excited about. I mean, like Star Wars is one. I mean, I just like well, yes, all right. To be fair, mate, nonce is not a new word. Nonce has been around for decades. It's not. It doesn't have global reach, but I do find it kind of annoying. There is kind of. I would actually argue that the thing that annoys me is that there's lots of films that are considered classics, or that everyone kind of just always puts in the greatest films ever. But I often question how many people have how many people who say Citizen Kane have actually fucking watched Citizen Kane and gave. I mean, I've seen people always say Casablanca. I watched Casablanca, bored me to fucking tears. I've seen Gone with the Wind. I couldn't fucking stand it. Gotta fix this connection. Okay. Bob the Builder, can we fix it? Bob the Builder, yes, we can. Oh, all the Pirates movies were underrated. See, I disagree. I did know that, Richard. Yeah. And you leave the kids alone. Yeah, that's a scientific fact. There's no real evidence for it, but it is scientific fact. So I don't care, Nabil. Yeah. Can I think of Ray Winston, Gary Oldman, oh Christ, yeah, I'll definitely put Ray Winston and Gary Oldman at the top of that. Ray Winston specifically was it was Nil by Mouth, which was actually directed and written by Gary Oldman, which is an amazing film. I mean, it's brutal as fucking hell. I mean, it's savage, but it's an incredible film, and every actor in it is incredible. But yeah, you know, Kathy Burke's in it. Kathy Burke's amazing in it. You know. She has the monologue she does at the end to Ray Winston's character always makes me, you know, I always burst into tears during that. You know, she's just yeah. I mean, it's a part of that sort of quintessentially sort of like almost like sort of low budget, sort of just, you know, very brutally real, you know, extremely harsh, you know, brutal reality, you know, brutally. I think almost kitchen sink, like, you know, like Made in Britain with Tim Roth would be another one, you know. Scum, Nil by Mouth. If you've never seen Warzone, which was directed by Tim Roth, and will you fucking get in? Don't you kick off, woman? But it stars over. It's actually, you know, I mean, it's a properly fucked up film. Yeah, if you're going to watch Warzone, don't look anything up about it. Just go and just watch it. But it was like, you know, it's a film. You know, there was a lot of, you know, it's very disturbing, and it's very, you know, it's one of these ones that will test your patience. Like, you'll see, you know, it could, you know, you might be watching it and you feel like it's a bit boring, but when it gets going, oh god, why do I watch these? They're not awful films. Do I enjoy seeing? Oh, fuck off, Dawson. Just go fuck yourself, you stupid prat. What a fucking ridiculous question. My suspension, it was wonderful. Bob Hoskins was another good one. In fact, the first time I saw Bob Hoskins was he was playing an American. It was a Roger Rabbit. I've heard that name before, Yvette, but I've never watched any of his videos, so I don't really care. I'm sure I will survive. If you're annoyed about Brits stealing US acting jobs, oh Christ, you should look at some of the you know Hugh Laurie in House. The guy who plays Rick in Walking Dead, and the black geezer who in Walking Dead. He was English. I don't watch either of them, Ben. No. Christian Bale, yeah. Yeah, Henry Cavill, yeah. I mean, even Ray Winston has played American, and he's terrible at an American accent. I mean, he's got an atrocious American accent. There's been some on the other side. I mean, what's her name? Renee Zellweger. Although she's not. Is she American or is she Australian? I can't remember. The best thing, when you get generally when it works the other way around, it's generally the they tend to be playing. It's like fucking people go on about Johnny Depp's fucking Captain Jack Sparrow, which I never found funny to begin with. Actually, I was watching a great Tom Hiddleston. He's English. I was watching a great series with Hugh Laurie and Tom Hiddleston called The Night Manager, which if you haven't seen, that's a really good. Tom Hardy, yep. Yeah, but Chris Hemsworth is just awesome. I mean, he's just he's one of those people that's like he's one of those people that's so almost too perfect. Like, yeah. Night so confused. Cheers, mate. Cheers for the tipple. Yeah. Well, Keira Knightley and Orlando Bland, you know, you got to remember with those two is, you know, and I'm not busting on them for this because I'd have done the same thing, but you know, their parents were acting agents, you know, which, you know, in both in you know, I'm not saying they're completely without talent, but in both cases, it's they're sort of a case of the old adage of it's not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah, I'm not saying they're completely and utterly awful, but I mean, I don't know. Why don't you look it up? You wouldn't kick her out of bed. That's kind of irrelevant. Again, I'm not really a. Yeah, but Taylor Swift's parents being bankers, I don't see how that aids her, you know, helps her, you know, helps her become a pop star. Plus, you know, I won't hear a bad word said about Taylor Swift. I don't, no, not in my fucking chat. Yeah. You see, that's different. See, parents investing in a career is different. But I mean, you know, with Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom, you know, their parents were literally acting agents, so they, you know, could immediately get them. You know, if they were my parents, I'd fucking be getting work. You know, I haven't gone for the kitchen lighter. You know, I went to buy some cheap lighters from Wilko's, and they sold out, and this was all they had. So, fuck it, I bought this because I couldn't be bothered to walk to another shop just to get a different lighter. Plus, it is quite cool if someone asks you for a light in the street and you just go, bunch of flowers. Would you like me to put it to one side just to? There you go. You can relax now. Tart. The thing is, my last lighter broke at like 11 o'clock last night, and there's nothing. It was that, you know when you fucking, you know when the flint sort of falls out of the fucking thing and you can't get a spark from it. Like it's still, you know, that, you know, and you're like, fuck, you know. Did I see that? No, I didn't. Well, no, this is why I didn't buy. I don't like cigarettes. Taste worse if you light them with matches, because you get that burning wood taste in your mouth. Yeah. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to put all my videos I filmed today when I was doing my suspension in my Dropbox, so I can make a video tomorrow. Try charcoal? No. See, the gas running out I can deal with, because you can still, you can still do that thing where you like, you literally get a flame for like 2 seconds, and you fucking, This is why I never buy decent lighters, because they fucking, there's just no point. It'll fucking. I'll just end up losing the fucking thing. Right, uploading that. Charcoal smoke? No, it's not. I'm not fretting over it. It literally, Jesus Christ. I was just talking about the annoyance of when you're up late and your only lighter breaks, and so you have to wait till the next day to fucking buy one, and that's it. No, a Zippo lighter is fine if you're the kind of person who doesn't who's not inclined to lose it. Whereas I always lose shit like that. Use the stove. Yeah, I could. Well, I can't even do that because I don't have a gas stove. I can turn on the grill and use that. It's not convenient though. I wonder how long. Well, you're on the internet, Ulbrich. You could just Google, go on the Wikipedia page. Yeah. Keep a spare. Fucking hell, Corky. Are you fucking, have a friend hide it in your house. I'd like to think you're joking, but I don't know anymore. Here we are. Let's have a look. Here we are. Okay. Zippo, the American Zippo Manufacturing Company of Bradford, Pennsylvania. Diddly-do, 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 diddly-do. Okay, it was founded in 1932 The first Zippo lighter was produced in early 1933. It was actually inspired by an Austrian cigarette lighter of a similar design. It's basically like Hitler, you know. It got its name because Blaisdell, the guy who founded it, liked the sound of the word zipper, and Zippo sounded more modern. It's as good a reason as any, I suppose. Zippo lighters became popular in the United States military around World War II, because obviously they're smoking a lot more. No, Ben, funnily enough, I don't know that. Well, what it says here is that it became popular in the US military because Zippo ceased production of lighters for consumer markets and dedicated all manufacturing to the US. What that basically means is they got a contract. What brand do you smoke? The cheapest, which are Rothman Blue. I don't know what you mean by weird tits, but if there was a pair, if that was, I kind of don't want to know. I want to kind of leave that one to the imagination. Dude, once upon a time, there was a point when you could get fucking, drugs. They would give, there were picnic hampers of drugs given out to soldiers' wives. I mean, things that were illegal now, opium, shit like that, I'm assuming it was after after Vietnam ended. That's probably when Lucky Strike started losing money, because it's Lucky Strike. Soldiers are always smoking Lucky Strike. In there, it's because you literally have to be fighting. You literally have to be in a war zone for those things to seem like a treat, because they're fucking disgusting. Yeah, there's loads of people on YouTube who eat really old shit. I've seen loads of people do it. Yeah. Was it really, Ben? I had no idea. I think you'll find it was later than the 60s. I think it was known for a while that smoking was unhealthy. It's just, You mean Ashens? No, I don't. Well, no, he has done that. He has eaten old stuff, but he doesn't eat it. There's other people who do it. And how many old military rations videos has Ashens made? Probably one. He eats old food, but they're not all military rations. Yeah. I don't know, Ben. I wasn't alive in the 60s. Apparently you were. I can't be bothered to argue with you. I literally don't care. Apparently Zippo also owns another company that makes cutlery. Bugger me. You're laughing, right, Anne? But I mean, you know, it was, you know, there was a period. There was that was the, you know, the general. The tobacco companies had a lot more power and influence back then, and it was literally sort of like, you know, it was like the global warming of its day, you know. Can you bring this? No, fire off. You're literally just going to have to get over it. Okay, I'm going to click on a random. I'm going to go on a Wikipedia Safari. Let's click on a random word here. Las Vegas. Let's click on that. And if you've seen the Eddie Izzard sketch about Wikipedia, you know, jam was invented in the 1950s by Mr. and Mrs. Jam, and you know, and then you click on another word, and you go, spoons were invented in the 1960s by Mr. and Mrs. Spoon, and then you go to helicopters. Helicopters can sometimes be, you know, made out of spoons, you know, used for the transportation of spoons. Las Vegas, which is Spanish for the Vegas, you know, the meadows. Officially, the city of Las Vegas, and often known as simply Vegas, is the 28th most populated city in the US. See, you're learning something new, you know, new already. There's a lot of Fry and Laurie sketches. I like the one where the dad's trying to get his son to fucking move out of the house, so he does that trick where he gets him to open a drawer, and, and he makes this fucking J.R.R. Tolkien-esque fucking story up. No, I don't read. I don't read one that you select. Fire off. I read. You know, you can only pick from the words that are highlighted in blue in the fucking article. Those are the rules. I just misread that. Is that there was the word Old Mormon fort was highlighted, and I thought it said Old Mormon fart. I'll be honest. I'm quite disappointed. Let's click on the word basin. Oh, it's disappointing. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. We just got to look at right, which one would you end up with. It's probably not as difficult as you think. What is this, like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Except there's only 1 degree, and Kevin Bacon is Hitler. Right, one. I'm now on the word German. And can't be that far. If I'm on German, can you imagine what it's like to be an attractive woman? Yes, I imagine it's just like being me, but with tits. Can you imagine what it's like to be, anything? Can you demonstrate any imagination whatsoever? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to click on Germany. So I went from German to Germany, and bada bing, bada boom. Hitler. There you go. I went from Basin to Hitler in 5 fucking steps. There you go. Okay, give me a word then. Give me a random word, and I'll put it in Wikipedia. You want to do it in 4 steps? Oh, go fuck yourself, Ben. Badger. So we'll go with badger. Okay. Okay, badger, badger, badger. Okay, I'm going to click on European badger. Then click on Europe. Then click on there, World War II, and bang, Hitler. There you go. 4. Mushroom. Okay. There's a type of mushroom called a stinkhorn. Awesome. What do you mean let's try for 3? Don't say let's as if you're involved in this, motherfucker. You're just sat you're just sat there. Yeah. Oh, here we are. German. Mushroom. German. Germany, Hitler. Bang. There are three. Yeah, does anyone else call it penis? No. Or is it just you? Yeah. You call it Willy. Yeah, I bet you do. Let's try Jupiter. Thing is, I don't know whether you can really get. I don't. Three's probably your max. Yeah, the. I would imagine in most cases that's the smallest amount. Unless you make it very obvious, like you literally type in the word genocide, or or just Adolf. Jupiter. Okay. Was there a Nazi plan to invade Jupiter? Brown dwarfs. Were there any brown dwarfs in the Holocaust? Because that might. Kelvin Helmholtz, who must have been German. Come on, don't fuck me about. You son of a bitch. It's a mechanism, not a person. I thought it was a geezer called Kelvin Helmholtz. I'm using the app here. I don't know whether the app has a random article button. I don't know. Here we are. Right. No, I can't see a random article button here. Yes, but yes, Colkey. But the problem is that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5, and we're on 3. That's a step back, It says what does me being English or me using a Gaelic name got to do with the fact I thought Kelvin Helmholtz was a fucking German name? What relevance does that literally have? So I'm gonna try something quite risky here, and I'm gonna try and open another window. And if I can, I'm just going to go to a weird. I'm going to go to one of the many. I've been collecting some like random, bizarre, right-wing nut job websites over the last month. Not for a racist website safari hunt, just Right. Okay, this one's working. Right. Let me just right, and hold on. Desktop. Okay. Now, so you can shut the fuck up, you know. See, it fucking. I knew it. Bastards, fucking thing's frozen. Right. Okay, give me. Oh no, here we go. Just come on, you fucking piece of shit. Right, I'll wait for that. Give it 40 minutes. It might calm down. Lagging a bit. Is it really, Alex? I had no idea. Thank you for pointing that out. I honestly don't know what I'd do without you. Jesus, dude, what's trippy about the fact Harris is of Indian origin? I had no idea. How is that trippy? Second, and also you've spelled trippy wrong. Okay, this. Okay, now just so you know, this website, if you want to play along at home, yeah, this website is I'm about to look at is called. Hold on. I always get these the wrong way around.